Good afternoon. It is Friday, August the 13th. So yes, Friday the 13th, and I'm back in the reading Nook on what is a bright, sunny, but slightly blustery afternoon with a bunch of parcels and games and a nice cup of tea, all ready to do some unboxing. So first thing I'm going to start with is this Cantaloop. By Friedman Finderson, an interactive adventure from Lookout Games, and Cantaloop breaking into prison. Hook Carpenter is a charismatic and resourceful crook, even though he's one of the best of his kind. 10 years ago he got tricked and went undercover. Now he's back on Cantaloop Island and he's all out for revenge, but he needs a team for his plan. Thing is, the best hacker in town is doing time. Hook, that's a minor inconvenience at best. He just needs to break into prison. The interactive adventure series by Lookout Games is a story game in book format, like a computer point-and-click adventure. This game tells a non-linear story full of quirky characters, useless items, and tough riddles. Explore the different locations, collect and combine items, talk to the different characters, and find out how the story unfolds. So it's a playable thriller for players ages 16 and up. Play solo or with friends, and it offers 5 to 8 hours of fun. You can take breaks, saving your progress, and offers explore beautiful locations, use and combine items, and find clues using the decoder. So explore beautiful locations, use and combine items, and find clues using the decoder. So what you can see there is a mass of obscure text. A little piece of plastic, that's what you'll see, is a little bit of piece of plastic waits you run over the text and reveal clues. So I came across this at UK Game Expo and I went, oh, that's interesting. I said, it's also done, I can't find a copy. But fortunately I did. Didn't have to go online to find one. So here we are. So what you've got is slightly different shaped folder, and you open up, and that's what you've got. That start leafing through. So you've got little pouches of clues there, and you've got in this folder you have in this folder. I've just pulled out this. Okay, we'll put that back in a minute. But what we've got is so a little bit of red plastic. I'll show you how that works in a minute. And you've got a postcard for the location of Cantaloop, and it says, "Forgot how to use a postcard? Read the inventory." And we have presumably some kind of clue matrix, don't know what it is yet, and then we have this, and you can't see this, okay, but if I do that, the text becomes unobscured. Now this caught my interest because it echoes back to a certain series of modules that TSR put out in the 1980s, the MV series, and there are a couple of these, and there's also something else, an adventure for the Indiana Jones role-playing game, which used the same technology or same format. So once we get into here, we have the rules. So try and get what it was, breaking into prison. Basically more content there, interacting with simple objects, and these are basically the rules, and it's explaining how to use the locations, and interacting with both simple and complex objects, interacting with items, where to find codes, triggers, and so on. And there are important points that important never remove an item from the game unless you're explicitly told to do so. Always double check a code you've generated before you read the text with the decoder. Some codes may look similar. Reading the text of the wrong code may ruin the experience. So you need to take basically when playing this, and then we have a prologue, which is done sort of like, you know, like a mobile phone exchange, like Messenger. There, which sets up basically the background to the adventure, and then you go into the adventure itself. So that's actually quite lengthy. That's about just over basically a couple of pages in length. What we've got is you turn over the page, location 1 inside the lighthouse, and on the left-hand page you have all of this obscured text, and then you have illustration of the lighthouse. This is the lighthouse location, and it's got all these location clues which you can examine as you go along. And it's doing the same for places like outside the lighthouse, and you're seeing basically hook carpenters progress basically through the scenario. So here he is at the bottom of the lighthouse. Outside the lighthouse, where the location of prison entrance. This is all done in cartoon style. All the clues and information upon the other side, along with the content in the envelopes at the front. These contain the items, so let's have a look at those before we go any further. I'm just going to open that up, pull that out, that comes out, and so, okay. These are items. We've got basically 3 pockets: 1 to 20, 2 to 21 to 40, 41 to 60 items, either simple or complex. And for example, you have coat hanger, cheap white kind, and you line these up basically with the matrix and to find particular uses for that coat hanger. So let's put that back in there. So you can find a version of this game, essentially a prequel, online. Get to Board Game Geek or somewhere like that and track it down, basically episode 0, and you can do a print and play of that, and play all the way through that, and this sets you up for this part. You know, so go around and do the various locations, whether it's the prison entrance, the prison hallway. So it's very few locations. So for example, like the prison bathroom, all right, but they're all quite detailed. There's lots of things to find and interact with. It is taking, and essentially, as you can see with those illustrations, what you've got is it evokes that that point and click experience, because it's like essentially all the arrows point to the locations are elements on the screen that you can point and click with your mouse, or that you're doing it more physically here than you would normally with a computer game, because essentially this isn't a computer game. You have basically we've got 16, 20, 20 locations, and then we go from particular. You've got particular scenes. So, for example, scene A with the Blue Mamba barkeeper, and you've got potentially the open text like that, like 2 pages of that. That's good. I mean, essentially quite a lengthy content with this. And then we go into you know, that same conversation. I was saying yesterday, similar conversation, basically with a bit more detail, but it's obscured. Again, you need the red coder reader. Now, my one complaint is that red coder reader is just a piece of plastic. Okay, it could be done with a handle or something just to make it a bit easier to use. But you have essentially an adventure here, and clues to find, and information to learn through the use of that decoder, through the going places and examining them. So multiple scenes. We're up to scene F. And they all go all the way up to scene K, when you meet a woman in red. And then there's a help section at the back, with a lengthy section of basically list of clues and help text. So you're helped all the way. You can be helped all the way through. You can tackle it straight off. So this is multiple hours of play. You can play at your leisure. Record your process as you're going along. So yeah, that really takes the idea of the point and click adventure and turns it into something physical. It takes the sort of like the idea of a solo adventure book and really ramps up the sort of like the interactive elements and so on. So it's somewhere in between. So that's quite impressive. Cantaloop, a playable thriller or interactive adventure from Lookout Games. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook, please do click the like button down below. And if you've got any feedback or comments, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those, and I take the time to read them. So thank you very much for that. And lastly, of course, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, which essentially you'll have see me out here in the Nook with more parcels to unbox, a book or a game to talk about for about 10 minutes, or my first reaction upon opening it and so on, as well as drinking a nice hot cup of tea, then hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much. In the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing of the Nook, and I'll be back again in the very near future with another video. Bye for now.